Good afternoon and welcome to our program. In today's webinar, Top 5 Benefits of iMIS AdSpace Manager, we'll discuss how iMIS users can better manage their digital advertising sales using AdSpace Manager. I'm Don Carnevale, Director of Marketing at Broadpoint Technologies, and I'll be the moderator for today's event. If during the webinar you require assistance with live meeting, please call 866-493-2825 and ask for technical support. Also, at any time during the presentation, you can press F5 on your keyboard to view the presentation in full screen. Press F5 again to return to your normal screen. If you have any questions during the presentation, please submit them using the Q&A tab at the top of the screen. We will have some time at the end of the presentation to address your questions. I'd also like to mention some upcoming events. We're presenting a webinar next month on how you can reduce your risk when choosing an ERP provider. We're also exhibiting at the ASAE Annual Meeting and Exposition in Atlanta in early August. More information is available on these and other events on our website at www.broadpoint.net/events. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, Rafael Badagliacca from SpaceMaster. Rafael?
Hi, how are you? Thank you very much. One thing I want to point out is that you mentioned digital advertising. Actually, we're going to cover digital advertising here, but we're actually one of the points is that we're going to cover all kinds of advertising and show how we can bring them together to do the most contemporary kind of selling. So it'll cover any kind of anything that falls into the media category. I want to go over the overview and premise, especially for the iMIS customers here. The whole idea here is that we're bringing together the advertising view that we've been delivering for years to for-profit and non-for-profit companies. And what we're doing is we're showing a seamless interaction with the membership view, which is iMIS. And it's one single flow, so from here out I'm going to refer to it all as the advertising view and the membership view. We're going to show two brief demos. The first one is going to show how the advertising view and the membership views interact. Then we'll have any questions that may come up. Then we're going to take a look at the latest advertising view, which is a separate demo. And in that view, we have integrated the rate cards and some of the details of some of the people who responded that they would be in the demo. So that might be interesting to you. Okay. First, just something about the media landscape and the privileged position of not-for-profit organizations, associations. Media landscape is in disarray. It's not as simple as it used to be. Disarray creates opportunity, and it creates a great opportunity for you in the association market, primarily because while you have media, it's not your major source of income. Downsides become upsides. That used to be considered a downside. Now it's considered an upside. Because you are shielded from the ups and downs of the media industry, and so that means that this is the time in which you can take advantage and grow your market share. Also of importance, in the digital world, every organization is a publisher, every publisher is a broadcaster. This is an article I wrote years ago, but it's still relevant. We're not going to talk purely in terms of print presence or web presence. We're going to talk in terms of omnipresence. And so we're going to show you how in your selling approaches you can bring everything together and sell what we call packages. This is the most contemporary way of selling. So this is about all kinds of advertising. This is our reprint that we've had also for years. We have many, many iMIS accounts who are using our system on a daily basis. So nothing that I show you today is unproven or isn't used on a daily basis. Okay, I'm going to close down or minimize the PowerPoint. Let's see, what did I do there? Let's get back. All right, hold on. Bring back this. Okay. So we just want to minimize the PowerPoint, or let's just tell me if this. Are you seeing my screen now, everybody?
Rafael, I think you'll need to share that.
Okay. So
go up to the content area, you'll see share. You'll need to add.
Okay, let me minimize that again. Come up here. Okay, so this is new to me, so tell me, I'm finished with this part of things, so now how do I share the program? Under
so
what?
you go up to the Contents tab at the top.
Content, see it,
And
okay.
you see Share.
Share.
That down arrow. Then you need either your program or your desktop.
I'm going to share my desktop. That's
Okay,
the way I
click
want
that.
it to be. Okay. All right. So now,
There we go. Now we can see it.
now I'll minimize that. And this is a desktop of, okay, let's go here. Okay. I'm now, can I assume that everybody in the audience are iMIS users at this moment? Well, first thing I'm going to show you is how the advertising and the membership views interact. So here, what I'm doing, I'm now in the iMIS demo space, and I'm going to get into our system here. Hold on a minute. Here we're using Microsoft Office Suite front end, but the back end is completely SQL Server. It's extremely robust. Across the top you see this is a dashboard, first off, and this dashboard is user-oriented, so every user sees their own dashboard. If you change the name of the person, then they'll see different elements drawn from inside the system. Here we're going to concentrate on the link, in other words, the seamless integration. So you see 4 buttons across the left. Directory is people, 1 record per person. Call reporting interactions with those people. Contracts is where a prospect becomes a customer. In media terms, that means they've signed a contract or they've agreed to a schedule. When the schedule ends, it's possible that the customer will become a prospect again. Also, all of you do have multiple kinds of media entities. So somebody who's a customer for one will be a prospect for others. Ad placement are the orders that fall under the contract. What we're going to do is we're going to show, we're going to start with somebody in the directory, a new person. We're going to show how we make that person part of the membership view. Then we're going to show that after that action, we can go ahead and create a contract and then create orders. Then we're going to send the orders across to the membership view where they can be transformed into invoice data. And then we're going to show how payments that happen in the membership view reflect back in the advertising view. So the whole idea is that the people who are focused on the advertising portion of things, they can do all kinds of things that have nothing to do with the membership view. You can prospect wildly. You can interact with people who are who are incidental to the membership view, a production person at an ad agency, or you can do all the things that you need to do in order to have a successful advertising operation in the advertising view, and you can automatically feed the membership view with what it needs, which is basically who's a customer, what have they bought, have they paid for it. So let's start here in the directory. Okay, so in the directory, we always know how many people we have. I want you to focus on these 2 fields in the lower left-hand corner, iMIS ID and iMIS Company ID. When these are blank, that means that this particular person and or that person's company is not part of the membership view. Let's enter a new company. Okay, I'm going to create a company called the Test Today Company. Here we're going to see the nearest match. It's really the nearest alphabetical match after a certain number of agreed upon letters. In this case, it's 3. We are not looking for this particular company, so we're going to say no. We are going to convert it in capitalization. We're going to accept that capitalization conversion, and then we're going to click yes. Then what we're going to do is create a person. I'll just use Mark Smith. We're going to convert him there. Over here, we're going to agree what type of contact is Mark. We can have multiple kinds of contacts. The system really cares about accounts and agencies because any of you who are doing advertising know that we need to make that distinction. But we can have as many different types as we want and either enter a different type. You see 3 red asterisks. Those are the 3 required fields. At this point, I could save this record. I don't need to have the address or anything. I can get that later. Let's skip quickly to address, create an address, tab, put in a zip code. Zip codes will find cities and states. put in an email address, rather a phone, etc. That's enough information for us to do what we need to do. We'll save this record. Now, let's suppose that we're having a number of interactions with Mark, and after those interactions, all of which can be tracked in the system, which I'll show you in the other version, Mark decides that he's ready to run a contract, get a contract here. So this is step 2. But before we can create a contract, we wouldn't be able to do that unless Mark was part of the membership system. So it's at this point that we are sending data to the membership system, a membership view. Also important to know that if you get into a relationship with us, we are going to begin by translating all of your historical data. So you're only going to have to go through these actions or this action that I'm about to do when you have a brand new advertiser, either a company that's been a member for a while and they need to, or they've just decided to advertise, in which case we're going to make the automatic link to their record, or else we're introducing a new company into the database, and we can prospect with that company all day long, but at the point that that company expresses interest in running a schedule, that's when we need to make it part of the membership view. And we do that because we don't want to end up having to generate invoices later and not having the accounts receivable system, which is part of the membership view, already know about the account. So at this point, we're going to click the button. And this is looking into the SQL tables. So it's telling us that there are many companies that begin test, and we're going to drop down here, but we don't see anything called test today. Now, we may want to test a little further. Let's make it test space here and click this little squiggle. It tells us there's only one company, Test Therapy. Now, had we had an alternate spelling of test today in the tables of the membership view, we would have canceled this, changed the name here, and made the match. These are the types that have been defined in the membership view in iMIS. So we're going to say that this is a company member. We'll accept that. We will click Create in iMIS. Create today, Test Today in iMIS. It gives us back this message. We're going to say yes. It's going to tell us that it was successfully created, and now we're going to move to the next part. Notice on the directory record back in the advertising view that we already have the number filled in. So that means that that number has been transmitted. The record has been created, and the number has been sent back. Next, what we're going to do is see about the person. Right? Now, it makes pretty good sense that the person doesn't exist because the company didn't exist a moment ago. So here we're going to look at the defined member types. We'll say he's a regular member. We'll create him. We'll say yes. We'll say it's created. We're done. And now we have a record, a person, and a company that do exist in the membership view. This will allow us to move forward and to go to the next step, which is to create a contract, which we could not have done had we not had somebody over there. So we'll click New Contract. This is step 2. Contract is a relationship between an advertiser and a publication. We're going to use EduClause Review in this case. It could include an agency, in which we drop down the agency here, but for expediency's sake, we'll just move along. Here are 2 different types of ads. We'll put display. Here are the 2 different rate cards. We'll choose the membership rate card, and we'll choose the 6-time rate. We'll pretend that this thing began in January 2012. We'll start it on January 3rd. We can begin it a year. On any day, it'll fill in a year later. We can change it, make it shorter or longer. These are the reps. We can pick a rep. We can have splits. The system will completely calculate commissions. We don't need to show that here. We'll save this record. You'll see that it knows that it's a new contract. So if you're interested in tracking how many new contracts you have in a year, or if you want to know what percentage of your income is coming from new contracts, you'll be able to do that. Next, we're going to go to the last step, which is to create the new ad. You see the information comes across from the contract. We're going to pick from the rate card, and when we get to the other system, I'll show you that we put your rate cards in there. We'll say 2/3 of a page. We'll say for color. There's the cost of the ad. We'll click over here that it's 2/112. Now, you can also attach here product categories. I forgot to do that, so I'm going to go back, and I'm going to, back here, categorize what kinds of things this advertiser sells. And these are going to be specific to your association, the kinds of things that you deal with. Here we'll say care management, pharmacy, and we'll also also say that it's a retailer, right? So that's to show you that a company can be in multiple categories, and but ads are only in one category. So once I've done that, those three categories show here. So this company sells three kinds of things from time to time in our publication. We're going to choose pharmacy for this particular ad. We're going to save this, we're going to double click, and over here we're going to show you that, well, actually there I'm already duplicating. Hold on a second, let's close this. Once we've done that, we have an automatic insertion order. This can look however you want. It'll have your logo, etc. You can send it out. It shows the details of the ad. If we know about more than one ad being placed at once, I'm going to pick EduCause Review. I could select all. I could select every other, or I could cherry pick. I'll select every other here. We'll duplicate. Duplication complete. We'll close. We'll look here now at the complete advertising agreement. This can have any format that you want. You can have a digital signature here that fills in automatically for your rep. You can select a digital signature from them. You never have to have a piece of paper. But it's showing all 6 ads here. Now, when I get to the other system, when I get to the latest system we're delivering, we're going to show you that you can click this No Detail button, and that if you do that, when you generate any kind of proposal or contract or whatever, you'll see that it will show all of the items but none of the details. This is the beginning of my presentation on selling packages, because when we get to the other system, I'm going to show you that you can combine into a single proposal or contract multiple kinds of entities. It could be different formats, different media. We even are integrating for management companies with multiple iMIS databases so that on a single proposal, you'll see media entities from different associations, and yet everything goes to the right place. I want to show you that everything in production is covered, and I want to reference that we also have now a connection to Visual Antidote, which is, if you're using WCM, this is an order screen that will allow you, the Space Master link that we're looking at right now, will fill this order screen, allow you to put banners. The banners will be counted. The number of impressions will come back. This is now a part of the entire thing. Right. Meanwhile, we've placed 6 ads now, so I want to complete and continue my view of what's happening with the rest of the link. See here, nothing's been sent across yet. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the membership system. We're going to make sure that what I said has been happening has actually been happening. So we're going to do a find here. We're going to click over here and look at the company. We called our company Test Today, so I'm going to do that, and we're going to see that our Test Today is here, and that when we did the action before, we did create Mark. Now, if we wanted to alter Mark's address, we could add a suite number. We could change it however we want, save it, and send it back, and then link up again, and it would update. It'll update in either direction. Okay, so that's that part. Now, the next thing I want to do is come back to the advertising view and go into the accounting portion of the advertising view. And in that portion, what we're going to do is we're going to take the action that will send the order data so that it arrives in the membership view as invoice data. Not an invoice yet, but invoice data. And that's the act of posting. So if we were to pick a publication and say we're ready to post that publication, in other words, we're closing the issue, it would have, in real life, many ads, 20, 25, whatever you usually have. In this case, it's going to have only one ad and one that's familiar to us, Test Today, which we created. Now we're going to choose an open batch number. Only open batch numbers will show here. And we're going to then do the action of posting. And all we have to do is press Update Records. And the records are posted. Okay, now we're going to go back and look. Well, first let's look here on the ad placement screen and see if anything has changed, because we posted this one issue. Well, yes, there's an icon that wasn't here before. Do not enter icon. That means that I can't change things anymore, right? Because this has been sent across as invoice data, so you wouldn't want people changing it. Before we move forward, I want to show you back at the directory level that data is aggregating to give you a complete and latest view of any company at any time. So here's the contract we created. There's one contract ending on this date. Here are the ads that we placed. They're all here. If we did call history, it would be there. Next thing is to note that these are live. So if I click here, I'll see that drop down. I'll also see that this has been posted. I'll also see that there's a payments tab. No payments have been made yet. I'll see that there's a detailed aging tab. No detailed aging yet because it hasn't yet been turned into an invoice. But if I go over to miscellaneous, I see that there is an iMIS order number that's happened, number 227. Your users of the advertising view need not be users of the membership view, but they are feeding the membership view. Now let's go into the membership view. And when we're in the membership view, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to orders, process orders, and invoice orders. And there we're going to see our order, which is right there. If we double click on it, we'll see the activity record with all the details, by the way. If we had different discounts and surcharges, they'd all be showing here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to convert it. And we'll say yes, and when we convert it, it's going to look like an iMIS invoice. Now you can either send out the iMIS invoice or the invoice that we generate on the advertising view. Some people like the invoice that we generate on the advertising view because it looks more like a membership, it looks more like an advertising invoice. In either case, when you generate the invoice in the advertising view, it will take the latest invoice number over here. Okay, so let's go back into our view, right? So we'll double click here. We'll look at our invoice, right, which hasn't been, all right, that's what it looks like over here. And now what we'll do is close this, come back here. Okay. Do you notice that invoice 57 is now the invoice number on this invoice? And this invoice can look however you want it to look. So if you want to send out your invoice looking this way, or looking however you want on this side, it will still have the right invoice number. Now let's look back over here and notice that the invoice number is also here and a reference number. So that means people using this part of the system who may not be using the membership view will be kept up to date with activities that have taken place in accounting. Also, there are still no payments, but there is detailed aging now. So we know that this company owes us $2,835. By the way, on other ads that are being placed, future ads, we're not going to see payments because they haven't been posted yet, but we are going to always know what the detailed aging is for this company. This is to allow your salespeople to always know the accounting situation, if you want them to, with the people to whom they're selling. All right, now, let's go back into the iMIS membership view, and now let's go to AR Cash. So we'll double-click here. We will click New. We will see what I'm doing here. Let's see. Choose the batch. Close this. Click New. It's invoice number 57 that we're going after. We're going to double-click. First, we're going to put in a check number, 555. And let's not pay it off entirely. Let's pay $2,800. Double-click and save. Now, that means $2,800 has been paid. So let's go back to this view, back to here, and look at the payments, and now we see our $2,800. And we also see that our outstanding is $35. If we go back here, and they realize that they underpaid by $35, and we go to 57 again, and we have check 556, and the $35 is paid, double-click, save. And now, when we go back here, let's let this refresh. Let's go back here. Let's look here at our miscellaneous. So let's look at our payments. We have two payments. And balance remaining 0, and detailed aging is nothing. So that shows the beginning and the end of the link between the advertising view and the membership view. And just to repeat, The advertising view is going to let you do everything that you need to do to have a successful media advertising operation in detail, and it's going to feed the membership view with the information that it wants to have, and that's what we've just shown you. I don't know if people want to ask questions now. Don, if you want to come back, what I would now do in my demo is I would close this. Actually, just close iMIS and close this file, exit that one, get off of here, log off, and come back here now to my own demo, which is going to show you the latest that you will get linked to the membership view. Okay. So here, first thing is let's create, let's recognize that we have this guy named, this fake person I've created, Jeremy Soleil. If I want to send Jeremy an email here, when we send email to Jeremy, we recognize that email is a kind of CRM. Here it is, and if we click OK, it'll do the email, right? I'm not actually going to do it, so let's minimize it. And see that this email sent, we just sent right here. So this email becomes part of a list of emails that we've sent to Jeremy. Let's do date Z to A, so it goes to the top. If I have other kinds of interactions, let's say I want to set another call. Let's say chance meeting and decision maker reached, and good prospect. I can type forever here if I want to, though. Good prospect, and we'll insert the call. So we've added another call. Sometimes a call has not only an action and an outcome, but a next action, right? So we might want to say, call this afternoon, and I've got a call at a certain time, 2:31, so let's call at 2:33 p.m. and set the reminder. And if I did things right, that reminder should come up. We have many other things here in the directory, comp list, which you need to track, media kits, promo list, categories like I just showed you. We could add another one there. Here's contracts like I showed you. These are the many contracts I've set up with this company. You'll see a complete history of them, all the ads, et cetera. Let's set up a new contract. Try to do this very quickly, trying to keep in mind the time. So Solar Corporation is the company. There may or may not be an agency. And then these are the publications. So a relationship is between an advertiser and a publication. And looking at the list of people who are going to be present, let's pick business. Right, there's our reminder that we have to make a call. I can send an email, offer the reminder again, tell Jeremy that I'm busy and I'll get back to him as soon as I can. Meanwhile, I'm placing a contract with Business Aviation. Business Aviation has display ads. This is their latest rate card. These are their frequencies. Let's begin that one in, let's begin it in November of 2012. Let's say the contract began on that day. It's running for a year. The rep is this person. A rep can be in multiple territories. The territories can be account lists with different percentages. I want you to know that we completely will do splits. You can do up to 4 splits. We can split them unevenly. Don't want to waste time doing that, but in any case, we can do that. You can, it will know, you can bill the client or the agency. If you're you'll notice that Jeremy Soleil is going to get the bill for the client. Here, if we click the agency, it's going to show us all the people at the agency, right? And whoever we pick, it's their name that's going to be on the invoice. Let's go back to the client. Let's pick Jeremy Soleil. Let's note that that even though we're going to bill the client, we're going to give the agency discount to the client, which is an interesting and nice nuance. Save here. It's not a new contract, right, because I was practicing with it before. New ad, here's the choice, right? So these are the sizes that are available. We'll pick a full page. These are the colors. etc. We'll pick an issue date. We'll pick from among the product categories. We'll say it's hand and power tools. We'll save that ad. Now, we already showed you that we can duplicate ads. What I want to show you now is that we can duplicate across. So business aviation happens every other month. We'll choose every other, so that means 2 more will happen. Duplicate, OK, and close. Now, they also have web ads over at NDAA. So let's look for some web ads, and let's say that we have NDAA 2013. This is that's actually a show. All right, but nevertheless, we'll do this. We'll choose that. They have something that they give at the shows called mobile apps, and I'm naming it that way. And you can sponsor a mobile app, and you can do it as basic, gold, or silver. Okay, so we'll do it as gold in this case, and that costs $6,000. And we will duplicate and add that, okay, and close. So now we have a single proposal that has on it 3 print ads and a gold sponsorship at the show, and all are getting an agency discount. They may not, we don't have to apply the agency discount to all of them. Then what we may do is, well, let's decide that, let's pretend, I'll show you that we can put other print publications, and we'll pretend that the ASTA print publication is part of this. That's a display, right? World Guide, right? So we'll choose that. Oh, we don't have any 2013 dates there, so that's not going to work. Let's do the Buyer's Guide. Okay, I put those in. Okay, so 2012 dates, and these are the 2012 dates for the Buyer's Guide, and this looks like a weekly thing, and so we'll pick 3 of those. We'll duplicate that. All right, hold on. Let's complete here. All right, so these are actually web ads as well. So you have your web-enabled listing with video, right, and it's $745. We'll duplicate, duplication complete, close. We chose that for 3 dates. So now we have on here those 3 dates, and what we've done is we've combined all of these things. So what I'm trying to get across to you is that however many different kinds of elements you have, the way to sell them these days is to combine them into innovative and creative packages and to discourage your recipients from breaking them apart. So what you do here is go to the No Detail button, save that as a No Detail button, so that when you offer them the proposal, this is what they get. They see all the items that they're getting, but they have one flat rate price, which you have innovatively put together. And you can have as many different proposals as you want. The act of creating a proposal is the same as creating an order. You just mark a proposal. Once they're accepted, you can select the ones that are accepted and mark them run. Anyway, that's how all of that is working. So that's to get across my most important idea, which is packages. Also, you may also be interested in knowing that for certain items, whichever ones you designate, we're also keeping inventory, right? There are none left of this gold offering. The reason is that you only have 1 per date, right? There are other things that you have 6 of, right? So you had, if we included in here the silver one, right, which was, let's see, what did I just choose? NBA update, and what did I choose? Is that what I chose, or what did I choose? NBA update, and what date did I choose? Let's see, 10/20. No, not NBA update. NBA. That's your this one here. So now, if in this case I now choose a silver, and we decide that the silver one is duplicate, OK, and close. All right. So now when I look at silver, where is that now? Did I say that silver one? Well, I don't know if I saved it, but in any case, the numbers will be here. So when you go to there, we're not counting right? But when you go to the silver, there it is. There are now 5 left, okay? So I'm showing you that we're managing the inventory, and you can imagine how that goes for any web placements, any sponsorships, which you have limited ones up. Remember, I told you there were 6, and now there's 5 available left. Or any kind of unique positions like the cover of a magazine, etc. We're covering completely production side of things, right? So we started here. This is the first ad in a series. It's new. It may have a certain tracking number. It's due on a certain day. We're tracking all kinds of production details. The creative agency is responsible for it. Here's the production manager. Here's the original file. You know, we could go somewhere on the drive and attach that file. That's another thing we can do. And so the file will show up there. We can go to the internet and do it that way, right? If we went to right, this should take us to the internet, and if it takes us to the internet, we could show where the web connection is and put the address there. So now that stays there. So every time we go, we'll go right to where the web ad is. Again, if you store the print ad anywhere on your network or whatever, you can do the same over here, and it will go right to that network, that place. Page number, etc., separation number of pages you need between 2 ads. You know, display far forward. This is information that's needed for production. What section is it in, etc. All of those things are there. And so all of your production is being managed, but not only on that. Here, let's take another look at that for a second. So what we did here is this ad. We went to this. Let's go into the environment of all of the ads, and let's find the one that we just did. Right. So we just did. I think we did here. We'll go back to the contract. Contract from this. Okay, from the latest contract, which is with NBAA. Is it that one? No, it's all right. So when we go over here and we look at that, I want you to notice that flight dates appear when you're doing ads that are not straight print ads. If we look at this ascending, this particular ad, what I want to show you is a new ad. When we go to the next one, 3, and it's a pickup, and where are we picking it up from? Let's go back to this one and just assign a page number, actually. So when we're on the first one, and we put the page number, let's say it ends up on page 23, we'll save it, we'll click here, we'll go here. When we now pick up from that ad, and we say it's a pickup, and we pick up from the publication, so we say it's being picked up from NBAA, update, and no, business aviation, and we click here and say it's picked up there. Suddenly it has a different size. And so if we have a different size, it's going to alert us so that we don't pick up a half-page ad. I used something I previously had and think it's a full-page ad, etc. So there's all kinds of messages within the system to alert you, to prevent you from making mistakes. Also, all of the production data is gathered together into a single production screen. Even though you're entering orders one at a time, production people want to see things gathered together all at once. So if I look at something here like Power Magazine, click here, and drop down to I'll choose 2109 as my issue. Then I'm going to look here and see all kinds of, the entire issue with all the data, including the stages through which materials pass, et cetera, et cetera. So every kind of aspect of production is covered. Plus there's a report, and data entered here will appear back on the individual order. Data entered on the individual order appears in the summary of things. Now, it's 2:44 now. I don't know how, if you want me to just keep going. I have much more to show. Are there any questions? Should we pause for questions?
Yeah, let's go ahead, and I think that we're getting close to the end of the time here,
okay,
Raphael. So let's go ahead and allow for few questions. Ladies and gentlemen, just go ahead and use that Q&A tab at the top of your screen if you have any questions. We'll give you just a few moments to enter those in if you have any, and then we'll have Raphael address those as they come in.
Will I see them on the screen here, or I click the Q&A tab as well? I see. Okay. Do you want me to continue talking?
No, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I want to make sure that we're respectful of everyone's time, Raphael. So if anyone would like to see additional or see more about the product, we can certainly set that up for them, and we'll make sure we reach out to all the attendees, and if they have any questions or want to see further demos, we'll make sure to set those up. So, Raphael, I want to thank you very much for the presentation today. That was great, and I also want to thank everyone for attending today. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be following up with you after the webinar as well. So have a great afternoon, and that concludes our webinar. Goodbye.